moment to welcome you to our latest webinar, sponsored by the New Jersey Office of Clean Energy. This webinar is titled Going Beyond Lighting. Our speakers today are Kevin Rivera and Brian DeLuca, and they are senior project engineers with TRC Energy Services. They are the commercial industrial market manager for the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. And with that, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Susie. My name is Kevin Rivera. I'll be presenting New Jersey's Clean Energy Program Beyond Lighting webinar along with Brian DeLuca. Attached is the agenda that we'll be going over today. Some of the New Jersey Clean Energy Program background. These programs are all administered by the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, and they're funded by a component on each and everyone's electric utility bill and gas utility bill called the Societal Benefit Charges. These program goals include saving energy and lowering operating and maintenance costs, protecting the environment and lowering emissions, and changing the business mindset. Some of the programs that we'll be going over today underneath the commercial and industrial program portfolio is the New Jersey Smart Start Buildings program for existing buildings and retrofits, the Smart Start Buildings program for new construction, the Direct Install program for small to mid-sized businesses, the Large Energy Users program, that's it, right? Oh, and I'm sorry, and the Pay for Performance existing buildings and the Pay for Performance new construction. Why go beyond lighting? Several reasons why we go beyond lighting. We're delivering comprehensive energy savings. We're reducing usage from year to year. There's a significant and persistent savings, long life cycles. The measures cut across the New Jersey Clean Energy programs, and when bundled together, they lower the paybacks, which lead to quicker ROIs and more project opportunities in the future. Some of the measures covered under these programs are listed. HVAC, we do refrigeration, variable frequency drives and motors. HVAC controls, lighting controls, combined heat and power, and fuel cells. Some of the HVAC measures which are offered underneath these programs are listed below. There are air conditioners, unitary and split systems, heat pump, air, water source, and geothermal. There's packaged terminal systems like you would find in your Motel 6s. Those are the through-the-wall systems, and occupancy and economizer controls, which would control your HVAC system. There's also large commercial and industrial HVAC incentives as well for chillers, albeit water-cooled, air-cooled, or gas absorption. And these incentives are developed per ton, so per capacity of the unit. A couple of pictures of some existing HVAC measures. We also offer incentives for variable frequency drives, which control the speed and torque of machinery within HVAC fans, chilled water pumps, screw air compressors, boiler motors, commercial kitchen hoods, and we also offer incentives for VFDs through our custom process. And these incentives are also based on a per horsepower of the controlled motor, not necessarily the VFD size. The program strives and offers incentives for refrigeration and food service measures, which you would normally find in groceries and supermarkets, restaurants, and cafeterias. Some incentives cover the case doors, covers, and night curtains. Some of the controls for defrost, evaporator controls, heater and novelty coolers. The program also offers incentives for Energy Star ovens, steamers, fryers, griddles, most of the equipment that you would normally find in a restaurant kitchen, such as, you know, your dishwashers, your ice machines, things of that nature. We also offer incentives for ECMs, which are now located in and walk-in freezers and coolers. And there's also incentives on the custom side as well for refrigeration, custom warehouse and distribution measures. And these incentives are on the prescriptive and custom side. The incentives are driven per unit. Some illustrations here of some of the kitchen equipment being offered for incentive. The program also offers incentives for controls, for customizable hardware and software tools. We offer incentives for economizers for HVAC, controls for energy management systems, and these controls optimize the performance of buildings and process systems. These incentives are also per unit. Next, we're going to talk about the benefit, and Brian's going to take it over from here.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kevin. So the value to the contractors certainly is to combine short-term payback projects with the longer-term ones, because if you do a short-term payback project, you can certainly miss opportunities for a certain customer to want to do more comprehensive measures which have a longer payback. A lot of times people kind of tag on to the low-hanging fruit, as they call it, which is typically lighting. It has a quick payback period, obviously, and they simply do that and they move on. And then as they go to then, certainly to check into the longer payback projects such as HVAC measures and more comprehensive measures, they find that the payback tends to be a bit prohibitive for them to certainly go ahead with that project. So it's really important as a contractor to certainly try to bundle in as much as you possibly can for this customer, and then it's certainly about providing the right measure mix for the customer, of course. And then incentives for the first project can be certainly rolled into the next project. So a lot of times people will do phases, and the first incentive payment can obviously provide opportunity for the next project, to where if they were spending X amount of dollars, initially there was a certain budget and they found $10,000 through the Clean Energy Program, they can reinvest that towards a future project. So that really certainly helps them out. So the other important fact is that, it's a very competitive market out there. So it's very important for contractors to be offering and to show customers that there are available for their project. If you are a contractor trying to certainly look out for your customer and you are showing them there are eligible incentives available and the other guy cannot offer that, that's a selling point, obviously. It also helps certainly reduce cost of the project as well. So if you're equal to someone else's cost and you have a incentive available, then that certainly can sway someone's choice to go with you. So, the entire value to the customer and the contractor is is something that should always be explored, so you understand all of the values, all of the numbers associated with these incentives. Next slide, please.
Here we go.
Value to the customer truly is to improve business operations and the occupant comfort. Certainly, things beyond just saving energy are very important factors to make sure employees are comfortable in their business. They're happy employees, of course, is a very important thing. Certainly, controlling various aspects of their building is an important thing as well, to do demand control management, demand response, if they wish to do those type of efforts in the future. These are efforts which would be manual, certainly, without more enhanced controls. Certainly, lowering operating costs, to be cash flow positive is a huge benefit to the customer. Everyone's trying to obviously make money, of course, and it's very important for them to make sure that their operating costs are as low as possible while still maintaining business operations. So it's a major benefit to them to obviously want to do this for long-term, savings, growth, etc. Improving paybacks. So if you have a project which might have a 3-year payback, and with the incentive it drops to a 2-year payback, that makes the entire project much more attractive, obviously, and it will hopefully motivate folks to then, to certainly implement the actual project. Things that are certainly tangible items are to certainly improve safety, reduce risk. If a certain company has certain green goals, sustainability goals, these all play into this right now. Also, if they are a certain building owner, they own various buildings, they have tenants, of course. If we're looking to sell a building to increase the building's value, putting in capital improvement upgrades certainly speaks to that. Next slide.
I'll be explaining the Smart Start Buildings program at this time. Smart Start overview. There are two types of incentives for high efficiency equipment underneath the Smart Start Buildings program, one being prescriptive incentives and the second being custom incentives. These incentives include new construction, rehab, and retrofit projects. Pre-approval for these projects are required at this time. The incentive levels are capped at $500,000 per electric account and per natural gas account, $500,000 per natural gas account per fiscal year. The prescriptive incentives are fixed incentives for equipment meeting the minimum criteria of the program, meaning performance guidelines. For instance, HVAC, we would be looking at the EER at AHRI conditions. And as long as they met the minimum criteria as listed on the particular HVAC application, there would be an incentive to accompany that application. Individual applications for popular efficiency equipment include lighting, lighting controls, HVAC, which also has control measures on that, VFD application, the refrigeration application, the food equipment service application, and then we also have the gas heating applications for your boilers, furnaces, gas water heaters, things that would be normally used in everyday operation. Next, I'm going to hand it over to Brian to handle the custom side of the Smart Start Buildings program. Brian?
So on the custom incentive path here, essentially the full intent of this program is to help treat some of those specialized technologies, those newer technologies that are out there on the market right now that are not listed on our other standard applications offered. The range of the incentive is all paid based on the lesser of three values. And the bullets here show them 50% of the project cost. It's a buy down to a 1-year payback, or it'll be 16 cents per kilowatt hour saved and $1.60 per therm saved in the first year. Projects must meet a certain energy savings quotient for the year, 75,000 kilowatt hours or 1,500 therms saved to be eligible for the program. Custom is a heavier lift than the other applications. There is a savings analysis required with it. We need some more billing information. So, folks have to prove out savings to us a bit more on those applications for us to want to consider it for incentive. Next slide, please.
The next slide shows the Smart Start Buildings process. Very, very simple process. First of all, an applicant submits an application to this office with the help of their contractor, who will have the technical expertise. The application is then reviewed and approved by this office, and this office reserves the right to perform pre-inspections as a QA/QC measure to the state. Once reviewed and approved, the end user will have a commitment period of a year to implement the approved equipment. Once the implementation has completed, they will submit the final documentation, which will have TRC do the final review and post-inspection as another QA/QC measure. Once everything has been finalized on the back end, the New Jersey Clean Energy Programs will offer an incentive at that point. Send it out either to the end user or to the contractor or vendor to offset some of the project costs, whichever way the application is filled out. Next, I'll be going over the Direct Install program. The Direct Install program is a turnkey retrofit program specific to small and mid-sized businesses The intent of this program is to identify outdated and aging equipment and inefficient equipment, propose solutions to those outdated and inefficient equipment in the areas such as lighting, HVAC, refrigeration, and HVAC and hot water control measures. The program is open, just like I said, to small to mid-sized customers who don't exceed 200 kW demand in any 1 month over the last 12-month period. This program is extremely lucrative as it offers incentives of 70% of the installed costs, meaning both material and labor. The incentives are paid directly to the contractor, leaving the customer on the hook for the 30% of the installed costs. These projects are capped at $125,000 per fiscal year, or if it's an entity with several different facilities under an entity name, the entity cap is $250,000 per fiscal year. Some of the benefits for direct install are it's a hand-holding process. The participating contractors through the direct install process have been heavily trained to allow for a turnkey process. The participating contractors provide support and process all the paperwork from the beginning of the process all the way until the end of the process, as they do not receive any of the 70% until the project is absolutely 100% completely done. Some of the other benefits are there's a minimal cost, low upfront cost with generous incentives to the end user, fast turnaround time. Currently, we're seeing these projects, even with heavy HVAC components, being completed from nuts to bolts in about a 3 to 4 month period. And then there's ongoing savings due to the lifetime of the equipment being installed. Projects provide energy savings year after year. There's an example for a small business that participated. It's McDonald's. In this particular project, McDonald's replaced 5 rooftop units along with lighting in their interior and exterior. The total project cost was just north of $85,000. The incentives for this project were just shy of $60,000. The annual cost savings to the end user, McDonald's Corporation, was almost $9,500 a year, which caused their ROI, or their payback period, under 3 years for such a substantial project. The next program we're going to go over is Pay for Performance, and I'm going to hand it over to Brian at this point again.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kevin. So P4P. This is our comprehensive whole building program, essentially, for current facilities and also brand new ones. The savings target is a 15% savings on the existing facility usage, or versus a ASHRAE baseline for a brand new building. Incentives are very attractive at up to $2 million per account. I'm sorry, per actual project, and it's a $4 million entity cap per fiscal year. Incentives are paid in 3 installments at various milestones throughout the whole process. The program is served by a subset of network partners, as we call them. These are design build firms, essentially. They are meant to assist you for just the application process to get you incentives, or to actually offer turnkey solutions. The point of this whole program is to simply get creative, essentially. It's a program which is meant to certainly facilitate major renovation upgrades. It can suit very comprehensive HVAC upgrades, lighting, certainly building shell, of course, heating and cooling, water use, process in the facility, etc. It's a very flexible program. For existing buildings, it is offered to various different customer types. Excess of 100 kW is a threshold to make sure these are large-size projects. We see quite a few multifamily buildings coming through this process, but we also see office buildings. We see manufacturing plants sometimes come through. It's a really healthy mix of various building types. On the new construction side, you have to have a building over 50,000 square feet to be considered for this program. There are flexible, the program has various flexibility requirements for certain customers such as hospitals, 501c3, nonprofits, local government entities, etc. Next slide, please. So everything for this program is based upon a energy plan, essentially. And for a current building, it's going to be looking at the 12-month energy usage for that existing building, and we're trying to save at least 15%. On a brand new building, baseline is the ASHRAE code. Currently, Jersey recognizes ASHRAE 90.1 to 2007 as the current building code. Incentives here are on the first milestone meant to kind of assist folks with the plan development, because there is a cost that these partners will be charging for these plans to be developed. Here is the P4P NC program incentive, which is 10 cents per square foot up to $50,000. The existing buildings incentive is very, very similar to that. The next incentive is paid upon the actual implementation of the project. So after we have the entire plan, which is going to include building modeling to simulate existing usage versus what the upgrades would be saving on the building, we then implement the actual project. Incentives are paid after everything has been installed and the partner has submitted follow-up paperwork for that project. The P4P NC incentive here is listed at $1 per square foot conditioned. On the existing building side, it's going to be based on your energy savings target. And the range there for the incentive too is going to range on the electric side to be between 8 and 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and $1, I'm sorry, it's, let's see, on the therm side, 90 cents to $1.25 per therm. Next slide, please. On the final payment, so for an existing building project, there'll be a 12-month period recorded, essentially, which will be utility bills collected and then submitted to prove out actual savings. So the entire intent of the program is to actually save energy. That's a huge part of this program for obvious reasons. On the NC side, there is a final commissioning report that has to be sent in to verify all of the new systems have been actually put in properly, installed properly, and have been vetted, and they're set up, to obviously save energy. The final incentive for the NC program is between 35 and 65 cents per square foot, and that range is all based on your savings. So if you're at the 15% threshold, then the 35 cents applies. If you're somewhere over 20%, you will fall into the 65 cents range. For the EB program, it is the same incentive offered on the second incentive, essentially. It is carried over to the third incentive. The one nice thing on this program is that if you actually save more energy than you anticipated, you get paid more. If you save less, you'll be paid less, of course, but there is a nice benefit there that if it was a bit conservative on the estimates, you can get more dollars on this project. Next slide, please. So the process for this program. Essentially, it's the submittal of the application. Now the partner is supposed to help you out through this entire process, whether it's a brand new building or a current building. Everything has to be handled by the partner. They will assist you through this process. So it's the application, which is basically telling us very, very, very brief, high-level details of the project ahead. We will then approve that project to then move ahead towards the plan development. Plan is then submitted to us. It is then approved. We will set the various incentive levels. At that point, you can then implement all of those measures. At the very end, there is a plan submitted to us at the very end to show here's what actually happened in the project. We will verify those values, of course, provide the second incentive payment, and shown here on the slide for the NC process, there is the commissioning report shown. So the benefits of P4P. Obviously, it's a very comprehensive program. So the intent there, is to align with various opportunities for the building, it's the actual business owners, what their intent of the building is supposed to be. So they're trying to stay competitive versus various peers. We see it plenty of times that there are green goals, if you will. There are LEED labels being sought after, of course. So this entire process truly tries to follow some of those things there. And obviously for the building, it's to maintain its operation. For showing multifamily, it's very important heating and the cooling systems are working properly for obvious reasons. Lighting is an important part of that. Building shell is a major component of these buildings to improve that. We have older buildings that need insulation. They need better windows, better building shell upgrades, period. So this is a program where they can do that and then obviously bundled in with the other measures that have a more attractive payback by themselves. Of course, increasing value of the building makes a lot of sense, and certainly, operation cost reduction as well as the maintenance cost being certainly less is a huge help for cash flow. Here are some examples for customers going through the P4P process. Troy Hills Village. This is a multifamily apartment complex, about 752 units. They had changed out boilers, pumps, installed VFDs, and controls on these various systems. Very healthy project cost of $1.48 million. Incentives were $168,000 roughly. Annual cost savings about $200,000, and a payback period of about 3.8 years. Now, the notable thing here is that not every so for certain buildings, project costs can be incrementally based sometimes. So while there can be other upgrades happening in the building that are not energy related, we are looking at the energy components, and for here, that the $168,000 was about 46% of the project cost for the actual energy upgrades. Panasonic built a brand new 12-story, 303,000 square foot office tower. They did multiple improvements to this building, including central AC, heat pump, chillers, condensing boilers, LEDs, daylight controls, envelope. Very, very nice project. Incremental cost of this project was about $1.18 million, which was the cost to bring this building over the 15% threshold to qualify for the program. Incentives were about $440,000, and the annual cost savings is currently estimated at $114,000. The one excellent benefit from a green growth, point of view is that it created more than 600 construction jobs. Next slide. Prologis Ports, Ahold E-Commerce. This is a one-story, very large refrigerated and non-refrigerated warehouse. They did various controls for their systems, upgraded their cooling system. They also included LEDs, increased insulation. Incremental project cost here is about $2 million. Incentives were about $600,000. Annual cost savings is almost $400,000, representing almost a 4-year payback. Very, very attractive paybacks for this program. All right. If you need more information, please feel free to visit us at the njcleanergy.com/SSB website. Please feel free to call us at 866-NJ-SMART. To stay informed with the changes to the program, updates to the program, please sign up to the njcleanergy.com newsletter. Please, feel free to call us if you have any questions. We are certainly here to help.
And at this time, we'll take any questions and field any questions.
Okay, we do have a couple of questions that came in. I have a Smart Measure project that seems to be able to qualify for P4P as well as Smart Start. How do I know which program is best for me to apply to?
Well, certainly to figure out which is the most lucrative program to go through, it's important to understand the the full measure mix available. So if you're doing a single project where the LEDs, or it's a lighting project that's going to save 50% on its own, is an attractive option, it's not quite comprehensive enough to qualify for P4P. If the project appears to be comprehensive, it can save 15%. Typically, incentives offered through the P4P program tend to be more attractive than the Smart Start offering. Smart Start is available to every CNI customer paying into the SBC charge. So really, it's an open program. It's a set program, whereas P4P kind of looks more into the comprehensive, the deeper savings offered. Timing is a big important factor as well. Smart Start, is a much more is a much quicker process, I would say. The applications are much more simplistic. You can use any contractor you certainly wish for that program, whereas P4P, you have to certainly use a partner for that process, and it can take a bit longer.
Okay, great. Is the contractor eligible to receive the incentive? If yes, how is that done?
I didn't hear that question. Can you repeat?
Sure. Is a contractor eligible to receive the incentive? If yes, how is that done?
Absolutely. The contractor is eligible to receive incentives. Specifically within the New Jersey Smart Start Buildings applications, there's a spot within the customer information portion of that application in which it allows the end user to click off a couple of boxes and sign off the incentive to whomever they choose to. So not only can the incentive go to a contractor, it can also go to a vendor or a manufacturer to offset the purchase costs as well.
Okay. Let's see. I work with many small businesses in central and southern New Jersey. How do you recommend I participate in the program?
I think first, I would have them give us I would have the person interested give us a call, just so that we have an idea of what types of scopes, offer interest, and then we can even offer expertise in-house. We can have an engineer from the program free of charge go out to, whoever's interested and explain these programs in more detail, so that they get not only a good understanding, they get a great understanding of what they're getting themselves into as well.
Okay, do I have to submit a pre-application before I pay for the equipment? At what point do I submit the application?
The equipment can be purchased up to 1 full year prior to submitting the application. So there is no hold back on purchasing the equipment. I guess the waiting portion is on the installation. Nothing can be installed until the application is formally approved.
Okay, and finally, how can my company become a P4P partner?
Sure. The site has a section for it available to actually become a partner. There is an application provided on the website. You can fill out the forms and send it in to us. We do partner orientations roughly twice a year, so we will collect them over various months and then review them for the partnership process.
Okay, great. Did we have any other questions on the phone? Okay, if not, can you walk us through a few minutes through the website and show us some of the features there that may be important to our contractors?
Absolutely. Okay, so what we're looking at is the home page of the njcleanenergy.com website. For our purposes, we would scroll to the Commercial, Industrial, and Local Government tab, click on that, and you will see from this point here how this website details each of the programs that we've spoken about. It details New Jersey Smart Start Buildings, has some literature on pay for performance and direct install. Over on the left-hand side, in this dark blue area, we'll have detailed information on each one of the programs. All right, in order to get to the application forms for New Jersey Smart Start buildings, you can go to the Quick Start page, which is always recommended because it offers a great detail of information with regards to the incentive structure, the application procedures, the program terms and conditions, and the program guide. So off this page, you would click on the application forms. There are two types of applications for utilization. There's e-forms, which are PDF forms which can be, typed into and then printed out for signature. And then there's the traditional PDF forms, which are just that, the traditional PDF forms which one would print out, complete, sign, and then submit. In the center of your screen, in the baby blue section, you'll see all of the applications which are listed, starting with electric chillers, gas cooling, electric unitary HVAC, ground source heat pump, gas heating, variable frequency drives, gas water heating, premium motors, prescriptive lighting, lighting controls, performance lighting, refrigeration doors and covers, refrigeration controls, food service equipment, refrigerator and freezer motors, and last but not least, the custom measure applications. In order to find more information on the Direct Install program, you would go back to this baby blue section, simply click on this tab, and allow for the literature to open up. And this would give you all of your eligibility requirements for the Direct Install program. And same process for all of the other. We also offer an energy benchmarking program, which is a really good program because it offers those who have really no knowledge about what they want to do in the future, but may want to know where their building stands. So what this particular process does is it's a simple application, a one-pager. It requests utility usage, and we will enter that information into a a database, which will then capture how this facility reacts on the electric and gas side, and it'll also compare your usage to other facilities within the same facility type and square footage, and it'll let you know where you stand, what types of benefits you can benefit from the program, the incentive structures, and it offers a lot of information about the New Jersey Clean Energy Program. And I believe it's a $1,500. It's worth $1,500 for this energy benchmarking package. It's a great way for your customer to start the process because it has a ton of information. Also within this website, we've got applications and brochures and a ton of case studies, and it also keeps you in tune with program updates. Should there be changes to the incentive structure or changes to the administrative structure of these programs, the program updates are to keep everyone involved informed. Anything else?
Okay, do we have any other questions from the field? Okay, well with that, I would like to thank everyone for their time this afternoon, everyone in the audience, as well as Brian and Kevin for presenting this educational seminar. Again, if anyone has any questions about the program, they can contact the New Jersey Clean Energy Office, or they can also send an email to office@njeca.org, and we will make sure your questions get answered. Again, thank you for your time this afternoon, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.